Hello and welcome to Sim Radio here on the Sisters in Music Network. It's Monday Music Madness and you're tuned into Mixing It with Nicki Kris. This is Nicki, and in case you don't know anything about me, I'm a singer-songwriter from Raleigh, North Carolina. My show celebrates women in the music and entertainment industry, providing an avenue for them to showcase their talent. Our motto, Sisters in Music, together we are stronger. My guest today is a 16-year-old, multi-talented singer, songwriter, and producer who has been attracting listeners from all over the world with her beautiful, soulful voice. Hailing from the New Orleans area, she has been surrounded by diverse musical, cultural influences that have been an integral part in developing her soulful signature sound that influences her music today. Her newest release, Lighthouse, is her first project where she has taken the lead producer role, and we are going to definitely talk about that. And she's been involved in the entire recording and development process from start to finish. Please join me in welcoming the absolutely wonderful Nita Perez. Nita, welcome to Mixin' It. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Thank you for having me on, Nicki. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, I am very excited to have you on the show. I'm very excited to share you and your music with all of our listeners. So we are going to get right to it. I would like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in music.
Well, hi, my name is Nita Perez. I am a Louisiana native. I'm currently 16, but I'm turning 17 this year. My mom is a musician, so I always had that love for music in my life from a young age. She used to play me a lot of Fergie. The first song that I ever sang in public was Big Girls Don't Cry. But I was always kind of shy with my voice. I wasn't shy about anything else. Just want to make that clear. But I was always shy about my voice. And then one year, I had signed my name. Well, I was 6. I was about 6 years old. So I was like really little. And I signed my name up to do karaoke. And when the time came, I was like, nope. And I ran and I hid in the bathroom. And the mom was like, well, you know, if you want to be a singer, you have to go on the stage and you have to perform. And so I got up on that stage, and I never really wanted to leave again. So that's how I got where I am now, and I'm just really excited to be here and to be able to share my voice and my songs with the world. And also, I forgot to ask, how are you doing, Nicki? I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. I want to give props to your mom. I actually know the both of you. We've met in person, and your mom is an absolutely wonderful person, and she has raised you right. I know your manners are absolutely impeccable. So shout out to Mom if she's listening.
I'm excited
because she is absolutely one of my favorite moms in the business because she has definitely done right by you in how she has raised you. So shout out, Mom. Now that we've given Mom kudos and we've learned, you're welcome, and we've learned a little bit about you, I actually want to caveat on your first performance at 6. That is actually something that you and I have in common. I was also 6 years old when I first got on the stage. So we have the 6-year-old first performance in common, which is actually kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. That is really cool. I like that.
So, of course, I'm a lot older than you are. But anyway, I mentioned, and you also called out, that you're from Louisiana, and I believe New Orleans in particular. That area of the country has such an eclectic mix of musical influences. Who are some of your influences and why?
Well, it goes without saying, I love Nina Simone. I really, really love her voice. I love her writing style. She was a great performer. Her life was very hard and very complicated. But when she began to sing and when she played her piano, there was nothing else like it. I remember watching this documentary about her one time. She had been, like, rejected from Juilliard or something based on some really just terrible reason. I don't remember exactly what the reason was. But, like, all of her relatives had said she had, like, just entrenched herself in her classical music and, like, Mozart and Beethoven, and she, like, just wouldn't come out from, like, playing her piano. And I always thought that was a very telling detail about her, is just how much she loved her music and how much it just, you know, she used it to work through her problems and her trauma. I thought that was very, you know, it was an interesting detail. But also adding on to that, I don't think that she is from New Orleans, not this next artist I'm talking about. And I only really know a couple of her songs, but her name is Amanda Joy. I don't know if you ever heard of her. I, like, binged her song Mistakes when I was really, really young, and I, like, really admired her vocal inflections and just the way that she wrote her lyrics. So even though I don't really know most of her music, I still, like, had, like, you know, it's like an admiration for the way that she wrote, and I think that has stuck with me as well. And then lastly, I love Tori Amos. I really love Tori Amos and her voice and her style. She has such an interesting style, you know, and the way that she really does her compositions is interesting. I just love Tori Amos, for sure.
I like Tori Amos as well. She is very unique and does do, you know, her writing is kind of different. And that actually is one of my things that I look for, is, as much as I always talk about Taylor Swift, her songwriting is just way above anybody that I've ever come across, just because every single thing is extremely different and unique, which constantly keeps listeners engaged. I mean, obviously there's a lot of similarities in some of her writing, but I know her most recent album is actually very, very different, and song structures are very, very different, and the entire album in and of itself is just not something you would normally expect from her, and I love that. So I'm always drawn to artists and songwriters that do things differently, that step out of the cookie cutter comfort zone.
Yeah, I've listened to a couple of her songs. They've been, like, everywhere, so it's kind of hard not to. But I have, like, actively, I think I listened to Are You Scared of Little Old Me or something. I think it was the title was something like that. No, it was cute, but I liked it. I'm not cute, but I liked it. I liked her lyricism. I really liked it. She is brilliant.
Yeah, it's the
good business.
I know she definitely comes, like, some of the lyrics, because the one that they've been playing is Florida, is the one with Florence from Florence and the Machine. Yeah, she does Florida with Florence from Florence and the Machine.
I love Florence and the Machine. Yeah. I have to listen to that.
Yeah, it's really different. It's really, really different. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Taylor Swift. We're here to talk about you. So it's actually a really great place for us to talk about your most recent release. Very excited for you. It is out. It is called Lighthouse. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the song? What inspired this particular song?
Well, Lighthouse was written for my mom, she's my lighthouse. She's my guiding light. I had been meaning to write a song for her at that point. This was 2021, I think. So, you know, it was already a difficult, like, global period, but it was in particular, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I don't know, it feels like an eternity ago. But if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was a difficult time in, like, our respective lives as well, like, not even considering, like, what was happening around us. But she had been asking me to write a song for her for years at this point. And it's not that I didn't want to or that I didn't have the motivation to. It's just that every time I would write something, it ended up just not being good enough. So I would just delete it or, like, tear the paper out my notebook and trash it. I could not find the words that I wanted to say that would really just encompass everything that I wanted to say, if that makes sense. And it really took me a while. So 2021, for her birthday, as always, I would ask her, what do you want for your birthday? And she would reply, I want a song. So for this year, I was really determined to write her a song for her birthday. And so I would sit in front of the computer, I would write something, I would delete it, I would write something, I would tear it out my notebook and trash it. And then I don't remember who gave me the book, but somebody had given me a book with, like, it was kind of like nautical themed, and on, like, one of the first few pages, there was this really beautiful depiction of a lighthouse. And I was like, hey, that's my mom. That's what she's like for me. And then all of a sudden the words just kind of, like, came. I wrote the entire song, I think, within, like, a span of 30 minutes. And then the next morning I got my guitar out and I composed the chords within, like, another 30 minutes. And then I asked my mom, because she's a bass player. I probably have mentioned that before, but my mom's a bass player. And she actually played in New Orleans for a long while. So I asked her, hey, Mom, can you do the bass on the song? And she was very, very happy to do it. And it was a lot of fun writing with her and playing with her. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Well, it is a wonderful, wonderful song inspired by your mom. It's a beautiful, yes, no, it really is. It's a beautiful song. You sound absolutely fantastic on it. So we are going to, you're welcome. We are going to share it with everyone right now. This is Lighthouse by Nita Perez. As I mentioned, absolutely beautiful song. I was really excited for this to come out because I know that you had been working on it for a while, so I was really excited when it was absolutely released, and I'm really excited to share it with everybody. You sound absolutely fantastic on it. You took the lead producer role on this particular track, so kudos to you, adding another repertoire thing to your little resume. Tell us a little bit about that experience, and also maybe how being in the lead seat on this particular song is different from some of the other songs that you've recorded.
A couple thoughts here. Number one, I think that I realized during production and post-production that Phil Kanakis, who is my producer for anybody who's unfamiliar, had been training me for this kind of thing since we had just started, with There's the World. And then the second realized, just with, editing vocals and, just, choosing which vocals go into the comp track, or just, determining what is an acceptable vocal to begin with, right? The environment that you need to have in order to record. And then second of all, how many hats, I don't know why I gravitate toward this metaphor, but how many hats a producer really has to wear, not just in regards to the actual production of the song, but beyond it, the business side of things, which Phil, encouraged me and showed me how to kind of handle. And of course, Phil was there for me if he I needed him. He was a ginormous help. He's always been a ginormous help. But it was definitely very interesting to be kind of in this different role. I didn't feel at first that if I messed up, oh no, it was going to be a big thing. But I think that's the beautiful thing about music as well, is that there isn't really a wrong step to take, because of course music is interpretive and eye of beholder and things like that. But I'm very excited to keep playing this role and to learn all the other different hats that a producer may wear, and to continue on with music.
Well, you did a wonderful job, and yes, Phil is absolutely awesome, and he has done a wonderful job teaching you, as well as he also has a lot of other students as well. But I know that the two of you have been together for quite some time and working together, and I know that you're really, really close. So he has done an excellent job mentoring you.
Thank you. And I'll tell him that too.
He's going to listen to the interview, and he's going to hear me say that.
Oh, yeah.
So, hi, Phil. How you doing? I know you're listening. Switching gears a little bit, let's talk about songwriting, because obviously you write or co-write most of your songs. When did you first get involved in songwriting?
Well, my mother would say that it's much sooner than this, but I started when I was about 11. And again, my mom has tons of videos of me writing little songs when I was younger. Oh, yes, sorry, she has corrected me. I wrote Do It On My Own when I was 9, which was my first song. And I didn't write this one with Phil. I wrote it in a different class. And at this point, I wasn't proficient in any other instruments. So I had a couple other students help me figure out what sounded good together and how to work out the composition. Do It On My Own, I still has a very fond place in my heart. I'm still really happy with that one. And then I met Phil when I was about 13, and that's when I started writing with him.
And the two of you have collaborated on quite a bit. And we're going to actually, I think we're going to actually share the second song, I think, is a collaboration between the two of you, but we'll talk about that one in just a minute. One of the questions that I ask all of my songwriters, and while you've only been writing maybe 5-6 years, I always ask my songwriters to share a tip or trick. So a songwriting tip or trick that maybe you would be willing to share that might help other budding songwriters.
Oh, yeah. I find that the most inspiration comes when I'm in very inconvenient spaces. So, like, if I'm in the shower or, like, if I've been woken up by something in the very wee hours in the morning, I, like, have dreamt of a song or, like, lyrics that I think are super cool, but I don't know where my phone is and I don't have a exact location for a notebook. And so, like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember it in the morning, and then I do not remember it in the morning. So just always make sure that you have either, like, something to write on or, like, your notes app, or sometimes, you know, on, like, the phones now, they have, like, that little side button that you can press that has, like, a bunch of different functions. Like, I press the little button on the side of my phone, and the voice notes will pop up, so it's like a little tape recorder. So sometimes inspiration will strike you at really, really weird times, so just make sure that you have something to write it down on or, like, something to record it with. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's just like a little scratch check or whatever.
Awesome. I use voice memos a lot because I agree with you. It's always the weird spot that you're in when you're inspired by something, and I'm the same way. It's like if I don't talk about it, write it down. My phone notes is also full of stuff as well, like even just like one-liners where I'm like, yeah, this is a really great lyric line. I'll work on that later, and you just write it down just to get that idea out. So wonderful, wonderful tips and tricks. So with that, this is a really great place to take a short break to hear a short word from one of our partners in podcasting. This is Chatting with Nat. We'll be right back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris here on the Sim Radio Network.
Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.
And we are back on Mixing It with Nicki Kris on the Sim Radio Network, and my wonderful guest, singer-songwriter Nita Perez. One of the things that I would like to ask you is, obviously, 16, still currently in high school, have career aspirations, school aspirations. Where do you see yourself in 2 years?
College. I'm still working on music and still singing and doing songwriting. You know, I am a musician at heart, and I always will be, but I also hope to weave in, you know, music with, like, sound healing into more scientific pursuits, if that makes sense. I definitely think that music has untapped potential in, like, the medical field and biology, and just bringing those two together, I think, is one of my aspirations in life.
And I think it's an absolutely wonderful aspiration to have. All right, I would like to hear, obviously, before we get to the second song that you brought with you, why don't you tell us some of the other projects that you might be working on? Because I do believe you are currently working on some other things as well.
Yes. So I'm working on a couple of singles at the moment, one of which has been ready for about the same amount of time that Lighthouse has been. But I wrote it on guitar. I just don't play guitar efficiently enough to record it, especially with the way I composed it. It's a little bit too fast for me. So I have one of my friends who's going to be playing guitar for me. Wonderful guitar player. Great. So I'm excited for that. But I'm also working on a collaboration with, you guessed who, Smokinakis, Holly Fisher, and Dimitris Nessis, which I'm really excited about because I love Dimitri's voice, and I love Holly's voice especially. I'm so excited to be working with them. And this project was actually surprisingly quick. It took me about a day or two to record, like, all the vocals and, you know, just to make sure that I got all the background vocals and everything like that. It was really fun, though, and I'm really, really excited to see what, because it was beautiful before, and I'm really excited to see now what Justine's going to do with it, because I absolutely love her mixing, and I think she is so talented.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're working with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Way cool. Do you have any dates on when any of those are going to be out?
I think sometime next month, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for all of that and make sure that our listeners are aware. And we're going to share Nita's website with everyone in just a little bit so you can stay up to date with all the things that she has coming out. But in the meantime, let's talk about my absolute favorite song that you have done. I've heard you do it live. Totally blown. No, I'm serious. Totally blown away when you did it live. And gosh, that must have been at least 2 years ago, maybe. So you were even younger than you are now. Yeah, I think so. And it is literally one of my favorite songs that you have released. You're welcome. Let's talk about Wisdom of the Goddess. Tell us about this song.
So, Wisdom of the Goddess is written for, I mentioned her name in the song. It's written for Saraswati, or her, like as she's called in Tibetan, Yakchema. This was actually a very interesting song to write because my mother and I were both Tibetan Buddhists, and I've for pretty much my entire life. So we have a lot of scriptures and texts in our actual house. And we have like a whole back room that's kind of dedicated to our like little religious library. And so I got a lot of my mother's books, and I referred back to them when I was writing the song. Like I would read about her appearance, like how they actually described her, and I would just write down pieces of information that I wanted to add into the song. And I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly with like the melody or the actual like composition of the song. So I asked Phil, hey, I know that this is your realm of writing. Can you help me write like the melody line and help me compose the verse and the chorus? And he was very excited about doing it. And that's how Wisdom of the Goddess was born. It was written for Taradatu, which is an organization that me and my mom have been a part of since I think 2014. And so I was very, very honored to be able to do this song for Saraswati.
Well, it is absolutely breathtaking, and we are going to play it. You're welcome. We are going to play this for everyone. This is Wisdom of the Goddess by Nita Perez.
Hear music now, body made of light and sound, mother of all beauty, goddess of all wisdom, homage to you I pray, young Chema said is worthy, mother of intelligence, goddess of resolve, one who shines a light of 1,000 autumn moons, emitting creative wisdom to the body, speech, and mind, mother of liberty, goddess of virtuosity. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare
like I mentioned, one of my absolute favorites. I get goosebumps every single time I hear it. Literally, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Yay! Before we sign off, is there anything you would like to share with our listeners? Maybe where they can find you on social media? Or do you have any performances coming up? You know, what else would you like to share with our listeners so that they can get to learn a little bit more about you?
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Nita Perez 007. I think Facebook as well at that same tag. I'm on Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, you name it, at Nita Perez. I do actually have a couple performances coming up. I have one on May 11th at this theater in Baton Rouge called Denim Theater. So I'm really excited about. But I just want to thank everybody for taking the time and listening. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much, Nicki, for having me on. Oh, and my website is nitaperez.com.
Excellent. And you are most welcome. Again, I was very excited to have you on the show. Very excited to share your music with everyone. Nita's website, Facebook, Instagram, and her Spotify links are in the show description, everybody. So be sure to check her out on her website. Check out our Facebook page, follow, like, same on Instagram, Spotify, do the same. And you know what? If you have Apple, go and buy some music instead of just streaming, because as independent artists, streaming is great, but downloading is where the cash is. So I'm just going to plug that also. And yes, definitely. You're quite welcome. All right. Well, with that, I would like to thank my wonderful, awesome guest, Nita Perez, for taking the time to chat with me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see what else the world has in store for you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Mixing It. On behalf of all of us here at Sim Radio, this is Nicki Kris. Until next time, keep on mixing it.